for the town of Walpole on June 23rd. Yeah. Right? 23rd?
Yeah, correct.
Right.
Yeah.
The days just blend together. First item on our agenda is an update on COVID in the town of Walpole. Patrick, Melissa?
Sure, I'll kind of kick things off and turn it over to Melissa. So just from a town operations perspective, as you may know, we had our spring annual town meeting this past Saturday. This was out on the Turco field at the high school. Was certainly a unique town meeting. We had each of the town meeting members spaced about 5 yards apart in either direction. Last week, the Board of Selectmen, they met and actually reduced the quorum, anticipating that some people may be concerned about attending town meeting with such a large crowd. So normally the quorum is 76 members, so they reduced it to half of that plus one, which was 39. And we actually had about 113 people, town meeting members, show up for town meeting. So I know Melissa, Rika, you guys were there. Trish, it was hot. It was about 90 degrees that Saturday morning. I'm glad the moderator made the decision to scale it back from high noon to 10 a.m. Because I think it only lasted about an hour, and I think the members were getting pretty antsy to get off the field and get into some shade. So we had all departments pretty much reporting: police department, fire department. We had some paramedics just in case it was too hot for some people. Health department. All divisions of the DPW, and I'd say it went off without a hitch. So it was originally a 25 article warrant. We scaled that back down to 3 articles, just the general operating budget for the town, the sewer budget, and the water budget. So all the other articles that were on the warrant this past spring will be moved to the fall town meeting warrant. Board of Selectmen's already indicated there's some items that, particularly some of the zoning items, that got some attention. So they've already indicated that they're going to be sponsoring those articles for the fall. If there are no other questions about town meeting, I'll just mention that this Saturday is the local election. The Board of Selectmen, they voted to change the hours from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So all the elected offices, there's some elected offices that are up for re-election: Board of Selectmen, town moderator, school committee. So that'll be this Saturday. And the only really other update, I know when we spoke, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, I mentioned we were preparing public buildings to start reopening. I think we're going to be doing a soft opening of town hall first week of July. So what that means is we'll probably not advertise it'll be open. We'll make the building available by appointments, but just have the doors unlocked. So I know that some boards and committee members have been coming in, meeting with staff that haven't really been meeting in the last few months or so. So we'll be preparing the building for that. And actually, just one other thing, the recreation department, they've been working closely with the health department and building maintenance in our office as far as figuring out what the plan is for this upcoming summer. So they decided they were going to try to do a pool program. So the pools are slated to be open this Saturday, subject to approval and the permit from the Board of Health. With the programs, they're really scaling everything back. All their camps and clinics are getting scaled back. They're going to be doing something at Blackburn Hall called Pandemaniacs, but that's really kind of about it. And I talked to the superintendent's office today. They're eagerly waiting guidance from the state. I think they're anticipating some update from the state on Thursday as far as what the public education is going to look like this fall. So I guess more on that in the coming weeks. So I'll turn it over to Melissa. She can kind of talk about the individual circumstances with recovery in the town of Walpole and the phase 2.2, I keep calling it. So Melissa.
Thanks, Patrick. So really good update. So just to give everyone updates on numbers, I did send them via email, but since our last meeting on June 9th, we've received 3 cases. So 3 new cases. We were at 47, we're at 250 now. Those 3 cases are undergoing monitoring, but should be finishing monitoring very soon. So numbers are still looking good. Like Patrick said, we started phase 2. We actually started the second part of phase 2 yesterday, being Monday. So that opens up a few more services. It opens up occupancy of offices to 50%, opens up some post-contact personal services, opens up the retail dressing rooms by appointment only. And obviously the big one is it opens up restaurants to indoor services under specific guidelines. So we just continue to field questions. A big thank you to my whole department, because it's just been nonstop from day one. And we just get questions all the time. And sometimes we might not have the answers, but we reach out to the state and hopefully have the answers soon. Unfortunately, like, everyone's in the same boat. We're getting guidance like right as it's coming out. So we're not really getting any tips, far in advance. So we're just trying to see the guidelines, kind of discuss it between our office to see how it would apply to certain situations, and then provide answers to our establishments as best and in a timely manner as we can. So.
I mean, even 3 additional cases since the 9th is still a very encouraging number. So hopefully those trends are going to continue as we move forward. Anyone ventured out to dining, either indoors or outdoors yet?
I went to Jalapenos for a cold beverage last Friday night. So that was it was weird, kind of being back out and having a server and a menu, and it's funny about like little things you just take for granted, but
that's it. My wife and I went out Sunday night for Father's Day. We went down to that Devavino winery on Route 1.
Yeah, okay.
And sat and had a couple of glasses of wine. It was strange to be actually out. There was only, 1, 2, 3. There were only 8 of us there. So I mean, there was plenty of social distancing, but it was very strange to actually have someone come up and take an order and bring you snacks. It's like, wow. But the things you take for granted.
Does anyone know if Beacons is considered Walpole or Norwood?
Beacons is Walpole.
Walpole, yeah.
So I was driving by the other day, and there was like a lot of people on a patio, and they weren't really like, I didn't see anyone wearing masks, and they weren't like 6 feet apart. It was like kind of crowded. So I don't know if you want to bring that to their attention.
Yeah, we definitely can follow up with them.
Yeah, I was like, what's all this crowd? And I was like, checking. I was like, oh, people are sitting outside, but really they shouldn't be sitting so close. That was like really, that felt kind of.
I mean, I haven't been by there, but the last time I looked, it looked like the tables were.
We actually ate there last week, and they are 6 feet apart. At least
the tables are people like we're gathering around each other. You know what I mean?
Well, and you can take your masks off once you sit down at the table,
right.
Obviously, to eat. But at least when we were there last week, they were 6 feet apart. So
interesting. Any other COVID updates for us? Sorry,
No, I think that's all.
I thought Mona was about to say something, but she's getting cut off.
Yeah, I had a question for Patrick.
Sure.
In regard to the pool reopening this Saturday, what precautions are we taking to protect the kids, though?
So let me see if I can do this off the top of my head. So I think the pools, and Melissa, jump in if this is wrong, the pools, they're limiting to 40% capacity. And then so what the rec department is doing is that they're selling, they keep calling them like blocks or spaces. So for each block, it would be a family block space at each of the swimming pools. So they're allowing a maximum of 4 people at each of those blocks. And then, of course, they would be 6 feet apart. So I think at Center Pool, for instance, they have something like 22, 23 blocks that would be 6 feet apart. And then even in the water, if you're in the water, you need to be at least 6 feet apart. The regulations, to my knowledge, don't require you to wear a mask in the water. So they're going to have a dedicated person, not a lifeguard, kind of patrolling the water to ensure that they're maintaining the 6 feet of distance. And that's going to be the case at all 3 of the pools, so the splash pad and South Pool as well. So it's going to be a little bit different, I think, from what most residents are. I mean, that goes without saying what they're used to. I know that the rec department's been getting some flack about obviously the capacity and being able to go in. But if you drove by on a summer day in previous years, you drive by and the place would be packed. It's just not going to be the case this year. And they were trying to figure out a way to make it fair for the residents. So they're selling it in, I think it's 1 hour blocks through the day, and you can buy as many blocks through the day as you want. That accommodates what your family's looking for. And then in between the blocks, what the rec department is going to be doing, they'll be go through and sanitize all the common areas like the bathrooms, like door handles, things like the ladders. So, and then normally we have our own pool chairs the residents are able to sit on. This year, we're asking people to bring their own like lawn chairs, beach chairs, things like that.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Does that answer kind of what your question was, what you were looking for? Okay.
Yeah. Yes, I was just concerned about.
Getting anything?
No, that was really good, Patrick. I think you covered everything. That was really good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else on COVID? All right. Patrick, thank you very much, as always, for your time and your update.
Of course. And of course, if anybody has any questions throughout the week or any of the residents watching at home, please feel free to reach out to Jim or me anytime.
Thank you
Thanks,
very much.
Patrick.
Have a great meeting. Take care.
All right, take care. Next on our agenda is approval of the minutes from the June 2nd and June 9th meeting. Are there any changes, corrections, additions, or deletions? I do have one on the June 9th meeting. Page 2, the motion, the word states, I think should have a apostrophe, should be state apostrophe S for the states opening plan, as opposed to the plural word of states. That was the only thing that I saw in either of the minutes. Anything from anyone else?
The second page, Bill,
Of June 9, the motion.
right, the second page you said,
I thought it was page 2. At least it looked like page 2 in my.
It will be the back side of your packet because it's a double-sided page.
Oh, okay.
right. Oh, the state, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I didn't catch that one. I just had a question. There was another, under the first page for June 9, under energy, number 5, under motion, the second motion.
Mm-hmm.
It just says, recommend the applicant help. Is it applicant help or applicant's help? Did we mean like the applicant to help?
Oh, okay, yeah. As I recall, that's the standard wording that we have for that whole segment. I know Rich didn't make that motion word for word.
Yeah, that was back from October when Robin originally, when we first saw
Yeah.
his plans. We've
So
kind of
we
just
were
been
just-
mirroring that.
We were reiterating everything from the prior. I mean, if it needs to be changed to have it read a little better, that's fine.
I mean, either way. Also under 9, are we supposed to spell school children one word or 2 words?
Ooh.
Yeah, I looked that one up myself, and it does show that one word is accepted. So it's kind of strange.
Is accepted?
Yeah,
Is accepted?
yeah, it's
Okay, I've never seen it.
the way it goes through and defines it that way. So
Okay,
Okay.
okay. All right.
So any other changes or corrections to those minutes? Then we'll entertain a motion.
Go ahead.
Actually, ooh.
Okay.
Um,
I'll make it.
I did not print out a copy. I read through on the screen. Do we have a quorum present tonight of people that were at the 2 meetings? I believe we do.
We do, actually, both meetings, let's see. So on the 2nd, everyone was there. All 5 board members were there on the 2nd, and all 5 board members were there on the
Oh, okay.
9th as well.
Okay. And we can approve both meetings. So we'll entertain a motion. I guess you can do one motion for both, I guess.
I'll make a motion regarding June the minutes for June 2nd and June 9th. The Board of Health accepts minutes as amended.
All right.
Yeah, I'll second that.
All right, motion has been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, 3-0-0. We have a 7:40 appointment for an animal permit on Charlotte Road. 12 poultry.
So yes, John Spillane did go out and did review the application, and he sees no concerns with the application that has been put forth.
So yeah, because I didn't see anything in the packet with his comment. So he looked at it after the packet was sent out.
He did, yeah. So he didn't have any concerns at all. I definitely would just reiterate, which I'm sure you always do, is just having them, the applicant make sure that they're, following the Board of Health animal permit, regulations, and that they're being neighborly and that they're adhering to what they put in their application.
Okay. Anyone want to make that motion?
Do we have the abutters approval?
We do. We have all the abutters have been notified.
Oh, they have been. Okay.
They have been notified. So they've either signed something themselves or they were sent a certified mail, which we have a copy of their the receipt for the certified mail.
Okay.
All right. We'll entertain a motion on that animal permit.
Okay, I'll make a motion in regards to the animal permit 51 Charlotte Road. The Board of Health is granting the permit based on the fact that that the applicant would follow the Board of Health animal regulations in the town of Walpole.
All right. Do I hear a second? Motion is made and seconded. Is there further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
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 3-0-0 on the animal permit. And we have a 7:45 appointment, septic variance at Woodruff. Mr. Glassa, you made it back home. Oh, you're muted, John.
How's that?
Oh, there you go.
I'm unmuted, hooray. So,
Hi, John.
Mr. Chairman, for the record, my name is John Glassa, Glassa Engineering, 46 East Street in East Walpole. And I am representing Kevin and Ida Scully, who are the owners of the house at 6 Woodruff Road.
This is a failed system, John?
Failed system. They've been having some problems for a while. They have sort of some teenager, young adults still living at home with them. So they're sort of anxious to get their system back in order. And typically of that Fisher Street, Woodruff Road area, oftentimes, or more often than not, we have a layer of gravel that's over what I call hard pan, which essentially is a soil scientists would say is a sandy loam, but wouldn't call it compacted, but it's a firm bit of soil, and the water just runs right on top of that soil. They're almost like a pipe. So in just about all of these cases, somewhere between 2 or 3 or 4 feet of gravel, and then you have the hard pan that has the water running on top of it. So the water is mostly, and maybe even above that elevation, it's thoroughly mottled. We can see the staining in the soil from the water and the air and the iron in the ground. And in this case, I think we had water table at 24 inches and at 25 inches in the 2 test pits that we did. And we had water coming in at 50 and 54 inches. So there really wasn't an opportunity to do a percolation test here. So we took a sample of that soil. If you look at the soil log, if you have a plan there, of the C1 layer, which is the gravelly sand came back as loamy sand. I classified it as sand, but it came back as loamy sands. That sort of translates into an 8-minute an inch perk rate, which I think in this case is probably quite conservative, because I think it probably really is more like a 2 or 3 or 4 minute perk rate, but that's fine. It doesn't really make that much difference in the cost of this. So we therefore, because we could not do the perk test, are asking, or I am on their behalf, that the board allow the soil absorption system to be designed and constructed without a perk test. And it's all been done in accordance with the DEP policy. So, but there's a second part of this. So most of the houses there, or a lot of them, are raised ranches where the plumbing comes out under the basement floor. I mean, those basements are only 3.5, 4 feet in the ground, but typically and this house has a bathroom on that lower level, and there's no way to raise that plumbing. If you were in a colonial or a similar type house with a full foundation, oftentimes we go in the basement and recommend that we have the plumbing lifted up to create the separation to the water table. Because Title V says that the piping going in and out of the septic tanks, and in this case, in and out of the pump chamber, has to be 12 inches above the water table. But Title V allows, with a local upgrade approval, for the Board of Health to vote to allow that separation to be as little as 1 inch. So I asked for the 1 inch of separation. However, if you look at the plan, you would see that our lowest elevation is elevation 9707, and the water table's at 9640. So I know you're gonna have to believe me here real quick, but that's 0.67, which is 8 inches. So we actually think it's gonna be 8 inches of separation. But here's the problem. If Kenny Jones or whoever goes out there and puts it in and goes, oh, gee, John, you screwed up by a couple inches and I only have 6 inches of separation, technically it would mean I'd have to come back in front of the board and ask for the 6 inches versus the 8 inches. So we just went to the 1 inch, but I really think it's going to be closer to 8 inches than 1 inch. But just to avoid another hearing and another boring
Oh, John, I don't know what we'd do with a Tuesday night without you in front of the board.
another boring presentation. So those are the two that we're looking for. As I said, he's struggling a little bit to keep his system alive, and he does have his sort of college-age kids that are, they like to use a lot of water. So.
Well, I know the no perk test has been one that we've granted routinely. I don't recall variance request on the T's being that close, but I could be wrong. But Melissa or Riki, any issues with the request that John's making?
Nope, so the plan has already been approved, and I think John has previously come with a plan before to request the same variances, and they have been granted in the past. Like I said, we already saw the plan, reviewed it, it's been approved. We have no issues with it.
All right, who would like to make a motion then on that one?
There you go. Sure, I'll make a motion regarding the 6 Woodruff Road request for variance. The Board of Health grants the 2 waivers from Title V. One, the construction without a perk test, and the second would be the T and chamber less than or within that 1 inch that he's recommending and requesting.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Motion is made and seconded. Is there further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
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 3-0-0. Good luck with that one, John.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members of the board.
Take care. We'll see you on
John.
we'll see you on the road tomorrow if it's not raining.
Yeah. All right, thanks.
All right, next is a septic variance for 96 Gould. Sieve
Yeah, so-
analysis and separation as well.
So Bill Gotwell is the engineer. He couldn't be on the call tonight, but similar to the John's presentation, due to the high water table, we couldn't perform a perk test. So this is a failed system, so it would be repair. So the code does allow, with board approval, that a sieve analysis is done in lieu of that perk test. And then additionally, due to the high groundwater and where the system needs to sit in the soil, he's asking for the separation of 4 feet from groundwater to be 3 feet. I spoke with him earlier this evening, and there were a couple revisions that needed to be made to the plan, and he should get those to me shortly. So once those have been received and approved, we have no other issues with his plan.
Okay. Any questions from anybody?
Those
I'll make a motion.
modifications are not impacting this waiver, is it?
No, they're just some spot elevations to make sure that there's a proper slope over the system, and just needs to add where some soil models are, which just reflect where the high groundwater would be.
Okay. Anyone want to make a motion on that one?
Okay, I'll make a motion in regards to the septic variance request, 96 Gold Street. The Board of Health is granting the variance. That requires reducing the required groundwater separation from 4 feet to 3 feet. And it would allow the use of a sieve analysis in lieu of perk test due to saturated soils.
All right. Do I hear a second?
I will second.
Motion is made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
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 300. Anything else before we get into the one piece of correspondence?
Just 2 quick things. So I know Mona received it. I don't know if everyone else got that new annual recycling mailer. So it
Haven't
was
seen it
sent.
yet.
So Mona, did you just get yours today? So probably within the next few days. Mona's holding it up. So the only, while we have kind of a captive audience, there is a circle around July 3rd that is not considered a holiday for Russell Disposal. We spoke with the disposal company, and there won't be 1-day delay. They are not coming out on Saturday, July 4th. So should your trash and recycling fall on the 3rd of July, put it out as you normally would. There is no 1-day delay. So just to try to get it out to everyone if anyone's watching tonight. And then we've also we'll put it on our voicemail, we'll put it on the website, and it's already up on our social media as well, just to reiterate to the board. And then the other item is our hazardous waste day. So we did block in for Saturday, July 25th from 8 a.m. to 11. It's going to be hot. It's not ideal, but we feel the need that we need to provide this event for individuals. We've received a lot of phone calls on how to dispose of things. With COVID, a lot of people were home and out of work, and they're cleaning out their homes. So we want to provide a service so then that way they can dispose of things properly. So I don't know what kind of turnout we'll get. It's from 8 to 11. We did kind of change the time a little bit to get in earlier, to get out earlier due to the heat. Advertising will go into the newspaper. We'll put it on the website as well as our social media. So you could spread the word. Saturday, July 25th from 8 to 11.
Okay. Then I guess the only correspondence we had was the regular water quality report from the town. Looked like everything was in line. There were no violations that I saw in terms of levels of the various chemicals and so forth that they monitor. I assume there's no action that we need to take other than to note that it looked good.
Correct, no action is needed.
Is there anything else that we need to deal with tonight?
No, just a reminder that we won't be meeting obviously next until the 14th of July because we now
Right.
are following the second and the fourth.
Second and fourth, yeah.
Tuesdays of the month. So technically we have 2 Tuesdays off before our next meeting.
Okay. And obviously, if something were to crop up, we could always organize a quick get-together if need be. All right, if
Of
there's
course, and
not,
I'll continue to keep everyone updated via email. in
Absolutely.
between.
you've been doing a fantastic job with that, much appreciated.
Thank you, Bill.
Anything else from anyone that we need to be aware of or discuss tonight? All right, then I will make a motion that we adjourn.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
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 300. We're adjourned. Hope everyone has a safe and happy 4th of July weekend. We'll be back
Thank
together
you as well.
on the 14th.
Thank you.
Everybody.
All right,
care,
take care.
guys.
Thank you.